Hello viewers! A massive update to RAID has introduced a ton of new content. Scandinavian God Champions, a new seasonal dungeon with Odin at the helm, a fusion for Thor, and a new gear set. But along with the update, the developers have also introduced a new champion, Loki. I've done my research on this champion for you and put together a complete guide to Loki. In this video, we'll go over his skills, masteries, gear, and uses. You'll find out if this champion is useful or just another add-on. But most importantly, I've got a great way for you to get Loki along with a set of excellent champions and resources right from the start. Like the video and subscribe to the channel if you want more new content and bonuses in RAID. Let's dive in. Loki the Deceiver, the Scandinavian god, hero of modern movies, cunning trickster, and now one of the champions in RAID. Thanks to the massive update, legendary Scandinavian characters have arrived in the game. And here's a little spoiler. Loki in the game is just as sneaky and unconventional as you'd expect, and he'll be useful to every player. But how do you get him for free, along with some amazing epics? Look here and follow along. Quickly open the description. There's a top link there that gives amazing epics to all players on any device, PC or smartphone. For registering, you'll get the epic champion Lightsworn and 100,000 silver. And a bit later, upon reaching level 25 in the game, you'll receive the champion Anax and 200,000 silver. On PC, you need to register and download the game, and on a smartphone, you'll be taken to a page with the bonus, and then, after pressing the only button, you'll be directed to the App Store where you can download the game. After completing the tutorial in the Bastion, the champion Lightsworn will be delivered to your mailbox, and for reaching level 25, you can get Anax. And to get even more champions and Loki on your account, enter the newbie promo code 5STEP2GGT to receive the epic Duck, a massive resource bundle and a gear set for leveling up. The bonuses will be listed in this menu and tied to your level. But Loki himself will be available to you after 7 days of gameplay. Log in every day, grab the gear set that will be useful on your journey, and within a week, you'll have the desired champion. But that's not all. Log in for another 14 days and grab a soul for empowering the champion. But that's still not all. The second stage of the event requires a bit of effort in the game. By completing specified activities, you earn points, and upon accumulating 1,050 points, you'll receive a 5-star soul to empower the champion. This is a very worthwhile reward. And in the end, you're just a dominator. You'll have the magnificent champion Loki, the epics Lightsworn, Anax, and Duck. The brilliance of this set I'll show you a bit later, but it's the best you can get today. The champions will handle the early content and help you level up quickly. Grab the epics for yourself and share the video with a friend to make it easier for them to start the game too. Loki is a legendary spirit element champion, especially effective against multiple opponents, and in the right build, can solo dungeons. But I'll show you everything in detail now, so watch closely and don't miss anything. This is an exclusive champion that players haven't fully appreciated yet, so you, my viewer, will be among the first to know the details. I'll start with the skills. They are just awesome and reflect the character of the champion perfectly. A1. Flames of Mischief. Attacks all enemies with a 30% chance to extend debuffs on enemies by 1 turn. If he is under the Veil buff, the chance increases to 50%. Skill upgrade gives a 10% damage boost and a 20% debuff chance boost. A2. Deceiver's Gambit. If you target an enemy, it applies block buffs, and if Loki is under the Veil buff, it also applies spread debuffs, transferring 2 random debuffs to all enemies. But if the target is an ally, it heals them and grants perfect Veil. If Loki is under the Veil, the spread debuffs effect also spreads a random buff to all allies. A3. Bandit Flash. With a high chance, steal all buffs from the target and 100% of their turn meter. If under the Veil, the effect cannot be resisted. If sealing the turn meter fails, it fills the turn meter of allies by 15%. It also grants an attack buff to the team. With skill upgrades, the debuff chance increases and the ability cooldown decreases by 1 turn. Passive skill, Mist Step. This skill has 3 passive effects. Grants perfect Veil for 2 turns every round. When health drops to 50%, grants Thick Veil. And with a low chance, dodges enemy skills and their debuffs. If under the Veil, the dodge chance increases. Active effect. When Loki's health drops to 50%, he has a 100% chance to dodge an enemy skill, but the dodge goes on cooldown. And of course, Loki's aura boosts accuracy by 60 units, which is pretty significant. It turns out Loki is a champion who will constantly be under Veil, spreading and extending debuffs and buffs while also providing support to allies. But how do you equip him to make him truly awesome and useful? The main parameters are as follows. For debuffs, accuracy is essential, but remember that under Veil, the champion guarantees skill effects. Speed should be upgraded 100%, ideally at least 200 so the champion takes 2 turns per round. Critical rate at 100%. Critical damage as much as possible, but the target should be 200%. For survivability and healing effectiveness, focus on health and some defense. Health makes the healing ability stronger, and defense reduces incoming damage. Since you, the viewer, are probably a newbie, I'd recommend the speed and accuracy set. Also, the lifesteal set will be very useful to increase the champion's survivability, but don't forget about attack to get more healing from the damage dealt. For mid-game players, Loki needs to be equipped differently. The speed and accuracy sets are replaced by the perception set, which boosts both parameters. You should also increase the champion's survivability, so the Cruel set for damage or Immortal set for survivability is suitable. For those with crafting resources, I recommend the Guardian set. This set helps the team survive longer, but Loki will need some healing to avoid dying. For the arena, Loki needs speed, survivability, and debuffs, so the perception set remains, and you can experiment further. The instinct set for more damage, but there won't be much damage since there's only one attacking skill. As an experimental option, you could try the bolster set, but you need to equip at least 6 pieces of the set to get the set bonus. The Righteous set is also a good option, as it provides speed and resistance to avoid receiving debuffs from enemies. In terms of gear stats, gloves with crit chance, boots with speed, and a chest plate with health percentage or defense percentage. For additional parameters, look for speed, accuracy, defense percentage, health percentage, and crit damage. In terms of masteries, Loki has several experimental variations that I would recommend for any type of account, so don't hesitate to invest 800 rubies into scrolls and start leveling up. The first build is for newbies, and it works in standard PvE content. It's the most reliable for this mode. Red and blue trees to at least deal some damage with A1 and have debuff spread work. The second build is for dungeons, Hydra, and clan boss. I've designed it to survive and deal some damage while applying debuffs to multiple enemies. It generally works, but if you have suggestions, write them in the comments. I'd love to hear viewers' opinions. Blessings. Since Loki can quickly get a cool soul for free, players face a tough choice. Which blessing to choose to further enhance Loki? The simplest option is Survival Instinct. It fills Loki's turn meter when he gets debuffed, any debuff. Lightning Cage is for high difficulty PvE modes. He won't deal much damage, but it's still useful. For PvP, I'd recommend Soul Reap, since Loki's A1 is an AoE attack. You can keep enemies under control and spread debuffs. In my opinion, this gift will work great. Now, let's do a practical test in the game. What is Loki truly capable of? Is he as good as they say? I'll show you some of my tests. Demon Lord. Here, Loki can shine as an excellent debuffer. If there are champions with poison or HP burn in the group, Loki extends the duration of debuffs, and he also blocks buffs, preventing the boss from strengthening his attacks. The Veil keeps Loki from taking too much damage. Results, as you can see, Loki is not meant to deal a lot of damage. His role is to debuff and extend allies' debuffs. In campaign and dungeons, Loki has proven to be a completely solid champion. In dungeons, constant AoE attacks and debuff extension on bosses can be a lifesaver. And against waves of regular NPCs, Loki spreads debuffs and supports the team with an attack buff. Arena test. Loki can serve as both a crowd control champion and a debuffer, providing some healing to allies and spreading buffs to allies. He's so versatile that he can do almost everything, except deal high damage. That's just not his destiny. I know our community, and if a damage build for Loki emerges, a newbie won't be able to assemble something like that. But overall, Loki is durable in PvP and useful with his debuffs. Hydra. The team of champions is specifically selected for this snake. Loki spreads poison and HP burn debuffs, hides under the veil, and quietly does his job. Personally, I'm very impressed with Loki on this boss, and with good gear, he can achieve a lot. As I've said several times, he won't deal much damage, but he'll do everything so his allies can finish the job for him. And do you know what the genius of the whole plan is? It's the combination of champions you'll get and how Loki will unlock their full potential. Look, Lightsworn applies attack and speed debuffs, Anax, weaken and poison, Duck, accuracy, attack, defense debuffs, and provokes. Loki, in turn, buffs spread to enemies with high chances, and he can heal allies if needed, and gives an attack buff to the team. Loki is an excellent legendary for any account. It's amazing that he's given completely free. He's useful in both PvP and PvE. Just make the right build, upgrade his masteries, and he's ready to tackle any dungeon or boss. And in combination with the epics, he'll perform his role even better. dealing damage and buff spread and debuffs. So how do you like the guide? Do you like the champion? Then jump into the game, grab Loki and the epic set for free. And if you have something to add to the video, let me know how you would equip or upgrade Loki. It will be helpful not only for me, but also the viewers to learn something new. Thanks a lot for watching. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and like the video. Your 2 clicks are my motivation to create new content. And I've picked out 2 interesting videos for you that I recommend watching. See you